So welcome to this informational webinar on the Experienced Leader Program. My name is Steve Sloan. I'm the head of programs here at Claw Social Leadership. Also joined today by Nina, who's our head of marketing here at Claw Social Leadership, and Claire, who's an alumni on our Experienced Leader Program, and she'll be sharing a bit about her experience on the program as well, and will be sticking around for any questions that you might have from her perspective on the program too. So, as for an agenda today, I'm going to be running you through our leadership beliefs, how we think about leadership here at Claw Social, and of course, going to be giving you some information on the Experienced Leader Program itself, what you can expect from the program in terms of its components and what everything kind of looks like. We're here from Claire. I'll tell you a bit about our other programs that we've got available. And then, of course, at the end, we've got time for any questions that you might have as well. So if anything kind of pops up as I'm talking, do scribble it down, pop it in the chat, and we can come back to it. So we have four core beliefs here at Claw Social Leadership, and these really do run throughout all of the work that we do, all of the programs that we do with leaders across the charity sector. The first of which is we believe leadership development is a lifelong journey. We don't view any of our programs as a kind of tick box exercise, which is how a lot of kind of leadership development programs and learning opportunities are seen in other sectors and sometimes in our sector as well. We really see this as a stepping stone for your continued development. The leadership development space and landscape changes monthly, yearly. There's always something new to be reading, to be learning about. So we kind of view this program as such. Secondly, we believe that everyone is a leader. We don't think leadership development should be reserved for individuals that kind of sit on senior leadership teams or senior management teams or chief executives. We try to kind of bust through what leadership development programs sometimes get seen as being a bit elitist and reserved for more senior people. We believe that our programs are for everybody. We take a kind of decentralized approach to our leadership development programs, and we view leadership in that way as well. A lot of our programs really do support in helping people realize and unlock that they are a leader, kind of busting through imposter syndrome, which is something that comes up on all of our programs. Thirdly, we believe that good leadership is essential for social change. So without good leadership practice in the sector, it's going to be difficult for us to confront some of the challenges and issues that are confronting our communities, our towns, cities, countries, and globally as well. So it's really important that leadership development programs like this run and that we have lots of people coming along to them to hear what we've got to say and hear what each other have got to say as well. And that kind of links to our fourth belief there, and one that kind of resonates with me as the head of programs and seeing this in all of our programs is that leaders grow leaders. A lot of the good stuff from the programs really comes from the network that you build, the perspectives of the other leaders that you're with on the program as well. Everyone's bringing a real diversity of backgrounds, lived experience, different sectors that they work within, and that really is where the magic happens in that cohort setting. As for the program itself, this is a 9-month long program, so it is quite lengthy. It will run from April this year through to January 2027. You'll see there the Institute of Leadership accreditation. This program is accredited by the Institute of Leadership. So if you complete the program, you'll be given kind of post-nominals after your name. So if that's something that interests you or is a real perk to you, that's a benefit of the program to get some post-nominals after your name. Also receive 1 year's access to their online e-learning platform where you can continue that leadership development journey as well. So you can see here is a bit of a map of the program. We'll start off with a welcome session where you'll meet your facilitators, you'll meet the Claw Social Leadership Programs team as well, who will be kind of supporting you through the journey. You also have an opportunity to meet each other as well. It's a really nice first session there, just to kind of get your feet on the ground. You've then got an optional component here, which is our Discover program. So this is self-guided online learning for you to do on our online learning modules. And Discover is kind of a 4-week entry-level course into how we think about leadership here at CLAW. And it takes you through our leadership development model, which is one of two of our main models that we utilize in all of our work. We've also got action learning. Action learning is a core part of the program. It is a part of the program which is incredibly beneficial. The practice of action learning, and I can say as an action learning facilitator, is transformational, and is something that can really continue to be very valuable after the program has finished. In essence, they're small peer coaching sessions, 6 to 8 people, for you to kind of bring challenges, issues, kind of gather advice from the group that you're in through the power of open questions. It's a great component. So you'll have 4 3-hour sessions there. Also on the program, you'll have further online learning, which is kind of self-paced, that are based around our social leadership capabilities framework. So there's kind of 6 different traits which we use to think about social leadership. Our online learning supplements those. They'll be complemented by peer learning circles, which you can see there. So there are 5 1.5-hour sessions to complement that self-guided learning. So you'll go and you'll read the resources. There's things to read, things to listen to on podcasts, videos to watch as well. And that'll kind of support your learning, which you can then consolidate in those peer learning sessions. We also have a leadership retreat. So this is a 2-day, 1-night stay in a kind of venue in Leamington Spa, where you'll kind of have 2 days to engage in Lumina Spark, which is a psychometric profiling tool on day 1. And then on day 2, you'll be focusing more on around the themes of leading change, which will be achieved through a kind of externally facilitated workshop. We'll kind of bring a facilitator in to give a session on perhaps strategic leadership, systems change. We try to respond to the needs of the participants and looking at your applications and see what is kind of emerging from there and shape the workshop at that stage. There are coaching sessions available as well. So you'll have access to 3 1-hour coaching sessions with a professional coach. All of our coaches are very experienced working with kind of charity sector audience. And you'll have those available to you to put in your calendar whenever you like. A lot of the rest of the components here are kind of set and scheduled from the start, but coaching is something that you can put in and around your own schedule. Then we'll be rounding things off with a celebration session in person to reflect on the journey that you've been on, but then to also continue to think ahead and also celebrate your achievements from being on the program as well. So that's a bit of a journey through the Experienced Leader program there. I will now hand over to Claire. Claire was a participant on our Experienced Leader program previously, and she's going to share her experience. Thanks for joining us, Claire. I'm going to pass over to you.
Thank you, Steve. It's an absolute pleasure to be here to speak to you today about my experience. So as Steve mentioned, my name's Claire Mayton. I'm Head of Employabilities at a social mobility organisation called the Sutton Trust. And I took part in the programme for the 24-25 cohort. And I suppose I wanted to say I loved every part of the program because that's absolutely true. But I think it's useful to reflect on bits that I found particularly useful that I maybe wasn't expecting to when I joined the program. So a huge highlight for me was the residential. I think it's referred to as a retreat now, which is great, because I think it was committed and dedicated time where I sort of completely put my out of office on and focused on my own professional development for the first time in a long time. I think I spent so much time wanting to develop my team and the organization and build towards the mission. But it was the first time that I'd, for years, spent time on my own professional development. And I think the bit of it that I really enjoyed within that residential was day 1. It's all about reflecting and figuring out who you are as a leader. There was a great 360 feedback that was a part of my residential and the Lumina Spark. And doing that in a really constructive and supportive way was amazing. amazing. And I think it's where we also built real great bonds within the cohort. We really felt like a cohort and shared a lot to our lived experience, but also got to hear about all of the incredible leaders that we were spending this program with. And then the other part of the program that I took a huge amount from was the action learning sessions, the ability to take a problem that you're working with in the everyday to a group of people that can understand in some ways your experience and your context and can ask really curious questions, really open questions, and can help support you to work your way through it was really fantastic. I wasn't sure what that was going to look like and how helpful it was going to be, but they were absolutely amazing. And I think in general, what I really liked about the program was just holding space for reflection throughout and sort of coming back to who you are as a leader was fantastic. And then what I think I really benefited from my CLAW experience was I think I came into the program, as Steve says, everybody's got a healthy dose of imposter syndrome maybe when they start the program, and I maybe was holding some old school views on what leaders are and what they should be, and what a good leader looked like. And so in some ways I was trying to present as those, but I think what I found going through the CLAW program was that in fact I was suppressing lots of the things that make a good leader, and so I was putting energy into holding myself back. So it gave me the opportunity to explore what different leadership looks like and the strength of that different leadership. So actually I'm able to turn up more myself than I maybe did in the past, and I think I'm a much better leader from it. And I think yeah, and historically, and it really helps you focus on maybe those bits that you don't feel so great at, but can really give you the foundation and ability to build. I think when I was thinking about this, I was thinking before the program, I was a very operational leader. I got stuff done, like made sure the organization was doing what it needed to do, but sometimes at the risk of not looking at the more strategic, the more forward looking. But some of those modules that really focused on that strategic thinking really enabled me to carve out the time, empower others, and sort of plan for the future. And then I suppose in terms of what I would recommend, I think what I would say is it's hard as a leader to find the time to commit, but there's never going to be a good time. It's always going to be hard as a leader to find the time for your own development. But I've become a better leader for taking that time. And what I would say is there were times that I was great and I did all of the prep beforehand. There were other times I didn't. I didn't read the lists. I didn't listen to the podcast because sometimes that's just not possible. But you can just turn up in whatever headspace you're in, frazzled, stressed, and you feel so much better after a CLAW session. I kind of liken it to going for a run. You never feel worse after it. You just have to commit and go along. And so, yeah, I think creating that space in quite a chaotic schedule really helped me continue to make the most of every single component of that program. So that's me. Steve, I can hand back in case there are any questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, Claire. Thanks for sharing your reflections on the program. So Claire's going to be here for the questions and answers. So of course, any questions you have for her, you can ask then. Very close to finishing up here. Just a few more things before we wrap up. Application criteria and eligibility. The programs really are for individuals that are working in the kind of for social purpose space. It can include charities, social enterprises, CICs, all these other different legal structures are very much welcome. Of course, interest in using your leadership skills and knowledge to help make the world, your community a better place is really key. And we also have 2 fully funded bursaries available on the program as well. These are for individuals from Black or racially minoritized backgrounds who are working for organizations with an annual turnover of less than £1 million. So if that applies to you, there is an opportunity in your application form to opt in for that. If you have any concerns about whether you think the Experienced Leader program is the right one for you, or maybe our Emerging Leader program is better for you, um, get in touch. Ask a question when we come to that, and we can sort of work through that with you. Terms of deadlines, we do have an early bird application deadline for a reduced price on the program, which closes on the 8th of March. And then kind of the full program deadline is the 29th of March there. Our applications are moderated on a rolling basis. So once you've applied, you generally hear back from us within 10 working days. But if you opt in for one of the bursaries, you'll hear from us after that final application deadline, just so we can assess all of the bursary applications at once. If you're feeling like 9 months is quite a big commitment for the Experienced Leader program, we do have some other options which are a lot shorter in duration. We've got our Management Fundamentals program, which is 7 weeks long and is a bit more of a management lens on things rather than leadership. That's available on our website for you to sign up to. And there's also Discover as well. And that's 4 weeks long. And like I said earlier, that's really an entry level into how we think about leadership here at Claw Social. Um, both of those programs is more information on our website. They're both accredited by the Institute of Leadership as well, so you kind of have the same benefits that I mentioned from accreditation earlier. We also have our Find a Coach offer as well. If you would like to gain access to our pool of coaches, we have a part of our website where you're able to see our pool of coaches. You can get in touch with them directly and book coaching with them there. So thank you from me. Thanks for your attention and attending the webinar. I'm going to open up for any questions that you might have. Ali, any questions from you?
Yeah, apologies. I've had to go onto my phone because my Wi-Fi kept kicking out. So I was very
Oh,
like, I know just following up on my email, Steve. So in terms of being able to access the program with the role that I'm undertaking, it was
mm,
just, is that something that you think could be possible? It was recommended to me by somebody who works in more of a social enterprise organisation as something that was, right up my street. But working in a multi-academy trust of special schools, I don't know whether that is enough for being able to access the programme. So we
yeah,
are a
we.
charity. We're a charity in
Mm,
terms of law, and a limited company, but we
mm,
don't follow we don't need to abide by all the Charity Commission rules, the legal bits and pieces. But it is
mm.
an educational establishment, funded directly from the government.
Yeah, we've definitely had participants on previous programs that have been part of multi-academy trusts.
Fab.
Also, individuals had a participant that worked as part of the education department that was attached to a children's hospital, um,
Okay.
universities as well. But I
Yeah.
think it's more, the leadership learnings and development that you'll get from the program will apply in any sort of role or any
Yeah.
organization. Even outside of the charity sector, there's some really useful lessons and skills that you can develop on the program. So
Fantastic.
you're all
Thank
good, I
you.
would say.
Thank you.
No problem. Vicky, any questions from you? Oh, in the chat, I can see. Um, yeah, that's definitely something we could consider if you have a coach. We could definitely remove that element for you, with a discount for sure. If that's something you want to pursue, just send us an email and we can take that forward. Cool. Any final questions or comments before we finish up? Are we all okay? All good. Thanks, Ali. Great. Thanks for coming. We'll be sending a follow-up email with a lot more details following this. Thanks for your time this afternoon. Go well into the rest of the week.
Thanks. Bye, everybody. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.